Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm William.
This is the podcast where we talk about all things tabletop role-playing games.
Today we are venturing into the Plane of Ooze, also known as the Swamp of Oblivion.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shout out to
Welcome, adventurers, to the Dungeoncast.
Hey, Brian.
Hey Will,
How you doing today?
I'm ready to get obliviated. Wait,
ready?
what?
This isn't Harry Potter.
Okay, it's not. You're right.
No, this is D&D.
We got a couple announcements.
We do. We got a couple announcements before we get into anything.
Yeah.
So stop. We're not going to Plane of Ooze quite yet because we need to announce the winner for our Dice Jar contest.
At last.
Sorry it took so long. I got super sick. I'm sure you guys heard about it the last two episodes. Congratulations to OG Ghost 3258 for winning the Dice Jar contest. Their guess was extremely close. They guessed on the Method episode. And so OG Ghost 3258 guessed a dice total of 437 dice in the jar, with the majority color being purple. And they guessed that majority color of purple had 78 dice total. The actual number, after counting with Brian, we did a little video, we're going to have to post it at some point, was 441 dice. So OG Ghost was only 5 numbers off on the total. And they guessed the correct majority because the majority was purple at 89 total. And so they were only even wrong on the number of those dice by 11. No one else came even remotely close as OG Ghost 3258. But thank you everyone for participating. OG Ghost, I've already emailed you. Your bundle has been ordered and it is on its way.
Yeah, what was the merch? What was in the bundle?
So in the bundle, there was a Dungeoncast hoodie, a Dungeoncast baseball cap, a Dungeoncast t-shirt, and then 3 different Dungeoncast stickers.
And the patented Dungeoncast chastity belt.
Yeah, of course. That goes without saying.
Yeah, there's instructions on the parameters to unlock it in there. No, I'm just kidding. That's not a thing. Yeah.
And speaking of merch, we have another huge announcement because we've actually launched an entirely new merchandise store. I say we. It wasn't really us. It was fan of the show, Dustin, who is also an incredible artist and been doing the art for this new merch store.
Yeah. We helped with our brain.
Yeah, we helped with our brain. We were definitely part of the process, but
we made the show that inspired the art store.
That's true. And we definitely gave all of our support and approval to Dustin.
But Dustin is the one. He's awesome. Thank you so much, Dustin.
Super sick Dungeoncast designs on here. There's Demogorgon. Shout out to Demogorgon Designs. There's Bahamut's Gym design, which I gotta order. I gotta order that tank top. There's all kinds of cool designs that are references on the show or jokes from the show. Fans of the show, you guys are going to recognize all the stuff on there. So go to babayagasyardsale.com. That's the name of the store. And there is an entire Dungeoncast merch section of the store. So go ahead and check that out. Please support Dustin. He's worked really hard and these designs are really, really cool. And this will be our flagship merchandise store moving forward. The old one still exists and you can still go there if you want. Those designs live there. But moving forward, we will be operating on Baba Yaga's yard sale because it's been a fantastic partnership. And thank you, Dustin. Your work is super appreciated and we love it all.
Yeah, the old one, more Dungeoncast logo-y, like whatever we use for our thumbnail stuff, we just like throw it on a t-shirt, let Shopify or store handle it.
I'll go ahead, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you've already seen some of Dustin's designs because I've put them in the video. And we'll put the link in the description. So yeah, guys, please go check it out. It's killer. It's killer stuff.
Yeah, absolutely fun stuff. I love it. All right, so now we can do an episode.
Hop in the dinghy. We're sailing on into the Plane of Ooze.
Is it a motorized dinghy boat?
Yeah, definitely. No. It's one of those rafts.
Yeah,
it's one of those rafts with the big fans. You know those?
Yeah.
Yes, we're riding on one of those.
I'll do the Breath of the Wild
because
the Tears of the Kingdom sound effects.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's no motorized boat that could function through this place. This place is nasty, boogery.
We need a hoverboat to glide over the ooze.
We do, absolutely. Okay. So we are venturing back to the inner planes on today's Dungeoncast. Last time that we were here, we got super frosty.
Yeah.
Well, this time we're getting super nasty.
Yeah.
For the Swamp of Oblivion, also known as the Paralemental Plane of Ooze, is said by some to be the grossest place in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm. Probably by us, too.
I'd actually object to it a little bit. I think both the abyssal layer of Sidakla, domains of Jubilex and Zuckmoy, the fungus ooze abyssal plane.
That one was gross.
And the abyssal layer of Zionin, controlled by the Oberonth Lord Obox Ob and his hive of fucking insectile demon monsters.
True.
Both gross.
I'm sensitive to smells, bad smells.
Oh, this place smells
probably
terrible.
Yeah.
To be fair, the other two probably smell terrible too. But this one might beat them.
I usually comment on how bad a place must smell, like traditionally when we're talking about terrible places. And this one has always kind of made me.
Oh, yeah. This place stinks for sure. But for me, it comes at a solid third place on the grossest places in the multiverse.
All right. That's up there.
That being said, this place sucks. But it also seems like a fun place to send your players and watch them suffer. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The Swamp of Oblivion, also known as the para-elemental plane of Ooze, is the inner plane at the intersection of the planes of Earth and Water. Presumably, there must be one place in the multiverse that's more revolting and loathsome than any other. Well, for many, that place is the paraplane of Ooze. At its very heart, the paraplane of Ooze is a malodorous mass of slime in any and all directions. This disgusting realm ranges from clear, gelatinous goo to putrid green sludge.
Fun. That's so fun. All the boogers.
In some places, it's almost thick enough to be solid, and in others, it's runny and watery. The ooze teems with worms, insects, grubs, and other disgusting waste and vermin. While the look and feel of the place is horrible, it's the smell of the ooze that's really bad.
Yeah, man.
In some places, the smell is so potent it can knock those unaccustomed to the plane unconscious. Although only those given the magical means to breathe while within the seemingly endless ooze mass would ever be able to smell it instead of drowning and dying anyways.
God, I hope if I had magic to breathe in it, that it would handle the stink,
Hey, man, I'm not a wizard in real life, so I couldn't tell you.
Just in the short rest.
Just in the short rest. Probably the most habitable portion of the Swamp of Oblivion is the border region between it and the material plane. So here lies a horrid swamp where twisted, gnarled trees and thick, stinging vines grow from a dense muck and slime. Here and there within the Swamp of Oblivion, stagnant lakes and pools play host to thickets of weeds and monstrous swarms of mosquitoes. The few settlements here consist of wooden structures suspended above the muck. Most are built on platforms between trees, but a few stand on stilts driven deep into the muck. No solid earth underlies the mud of the swamp, so houses built on poles eventually sink down into it.
I'm sure we'll get to what lives here specifically.
We will.
But Green Dragon live here?
I didn't get that, but I think on these border regions, I think it's a good candidate for sure.
You'll know if the thickets
Actually,
are...
black dragon.
Oh,
more
yeah,
than green,
black or
but,
green,
yeah.
I guess. But
but you wanted to work in the thickets,
the
Jake.
extra thickets. If you see extra thickets, there's
more
more danger
green.
here than normal. Yeah.
Shakir. Sorry. Where was I? The heart of the plane is also bordered by 6 other regions that touch other planes of existences. Yeah, you get what I mean. The planes touched by the plane of Ooze are as follows: the plane of earth, the plane of water, the plane of dust, the plane of mineral, the plane of salt, and the plane of steam. Each of which has its own unique border region within the Swamp of Oblivion.
Why do we differentiate mineral and salt?
Because those are different planes of existence in Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, I get that, but like, what?
With
salt is mineral.
True. So with the plane of mineral, it's the plane of like heavy minerals like gemstones and gold and metals and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's maybe it should be the plane of alloy.
Okay. Yeah. And then the plane of salt is where people that have been like scorned go.
Sure. Absolutely. So when one moves towards any of these border regions, the muck of the ooze plane undergoes a gradual transformation. Moving toward the plane of earth, it gradually thickens until it has the color and consistency of molasses. In this revolting region, which is known as the muck mire, the ooze has a natural tendency to harden around living beings, trapping them very literally like flies in amber.
Oh, wow.
It is said that a person who digs around in the muck mire can find some extremely interesting things hardened in the endless goop.
Just like the plot of Jurassic Park.
Yes, sure, absolutely. Dino DNA.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just watched that movie recently. I love that movie.
That's a good one.
It's the top 20 for me. I wanted to bring up a little bit of discrepancy between this information and 5e. So again, with 5e, we don't got a lot written about nothing. But in 5e, it does talk about the border region between the Plane of Ooze and the elemental plane of Earth as being like these mud slopes, these rolling hills that are constantly falling apart and being replaced. I don't think that necessarily contradicts this exactly. I just picture the mud hills being like the absolute border. So we have the mud hills that then roll into the muckmire, and then if you keep going, you'll reach the heart of Ooze.
Yeah, the Great Ooze Slide is what they call it.
Absolutely. In the direction of the plane of water, the ooze starts to thin out. Before too long, it becomes green and caustic. Wow. This region is generally referred to as the bile sea. Wow. And the muck here clings to flesh and burns like acid.
Great.
A few sickly fish flop about in this horrible mess, but usually not for long. Their decomposing bodies only worsen the revolting environment.
So just a bunch of dead fish, too. I'm sure that is like making things so much better.
If somebody heads towards the positive energy plane in the direction of the quasi-plane of mineral, the ooze begins to congeal as various ore residues collect in it. In time, it forms the slag marshes, a morass of heavy metallic paste with an airy atmosphere over the top of it. Silvery, pussy weeds called Iongis, I think it's called Iongis. God, I looked it up like a week and a half ago and I forgot now.
Oh, if it's a real word, it'll be
Iongis. No, it's not. It's a made up word, but you can probably find a pronunciation guide on Forgotten Realms Wiki, which is where I go when I really want to learn what's the official. And I think it's Iongis.
Okay.
Anyways, these silvery pussy weeds called Iongis grow throughout this region, and most creatures find them poisonous to the touch. In the other direction, toward the quasi-plane of steam, the ooze grows thinner and thinner. At the same time, strong winds begin to kick up an oily spray. This quickly forms rolling clouds of toxic vapor that are carried along by brutal winds. No living thing, not even those normally immune to poisons, can survive the choking gale for long. Even if one gets out alive, it is usually weeks before they can really wash the residue from the vapor out of their skin and hair.
Oh my God. So this is a plane where poison prevails.
Poison prevails. Despite
your immunities.
Exactly. I just shout out to the writer, whoever it really was, who came up with all these nasty environments, because they're distinct enough. Like, I think they're pretty distinct and they're all fucking horrible.
Yeah. Like, what kind of, you're walking down like an alleyway, what sorts of trash do you see? And then you just kind of expand on each one.
I guess so. So moving toward the negative energy plane, an adventurer can head in the direction of either the plane of salt or the plane of dust. If one chooses the quasi-plane of salt, the ooze becomes thick and briny, eventually growing caustic enough to corrode metal. Even magical weapons and armor rust away at the touch of the noxious chemical soup known as the stagnant sea. And those who decide to head towards the quasi-plane of dust won't find the going much more pleasant. In this direction, the slime grows thicker and, if possible, even more disgusting. It leads to a region most folks call the Oasis of Filth. This half-congealed place is almost organic and is so thick with disease that anyone who comes here will inevitably contract an illness of some sort. Even those who are normally immune to diseases, like paladins, can contract all sorts of fevers and illnesses here.
You get polio just from hanging out.
Exactly.
This is like maybe the person who wrote this just studied the like goo that hangs out in the bottom of the trash bag.
Oh, God.
Just like kind of snip.
Do not make me gag on this show, I swear to God.
This is your notes.
Yeah, but you're bringing up like real goo that I've seen in real life, and I can't.
Real goo is more hardcore than any kind of fantasy goo.
It's so true. Where was that?
Sucks when you're taking the trash out and that little corner bitty full of goo like brushes against your leg.
Fucking foul.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But how does one venture to this wonderful place, you might find yourself asking? From the city of Sigil, it is said, or Sigil, my apologies. I'm sorry that you spelt your fucking name. That's a real word in the real lands that we live in. Anyways, sorry. I get fired. I feel strongly about this.
Yeah. Is there a particular YouTube commenter you're directing that at?
No, just the greater Sigil fans.
Yes.
So anyways, it is said portals to the Plane of Ooze exist deep within the city sewers. Sigil also uses some permanent portals to the plane as the dumping grounds for all of the city's waste and refuse. But not all gates leading to Ooze are in Sigil. There's one deep in Sidakla, the 222nd layer of the Abyss, in the kingdom of the Demon Lord Juibliex, the faceless lord and self-proclaimed master of all slime and ooze.
That's right, baby.
He's back.
A goopy guy.
At the heart of Sidakla is a gelatinous orb roughly 30 feet
9 meters.
across. Its outer surface is thick enough to hold a round shape, but still viscous enough for a body to push through with effort. The key to opening this portal is a platinum disc, which must be pressed against the outside of the sphere. Because of the unusual way in which the gate is triggered, the person activating it, that is the one who stands outside the sphere and holds the disc against the orb, gets left behind. So it's you have to have a transport person to use the orb.
Right, okay. Like a Sherpa, like a slime Sherpa.
Hell yeah, dude. A slime Sherpa. Dude, I'm running an elemental plane campaign.
You gotta have a slime Sherpa.
We gotta have a slime Sherpa, and they're going to Ooze for sure.
Gross.
Elemental vortices, or vortexes. Vortices. Permanent two-way paths that exist between the elemental planes or an elemental plane and the prime material plane are another option. Vortices vortices to the paraplane of Ooze are rare things, though. They're found only at the heart of the primordial prime material worlds where life has yet to fully emerge, or in vast concentrations of filth and debris.
There's an elemental tornado of some kind, or what is this?
It's like a portal, like a whirlpool.
Yeah,
it's like a whirlpool, right? In the sludge, in the slime,
right?
And basically, it's like
okay, I've got it.
You got it. Okay,
think. Yeah. Before I forget, when you're running your game in the slime portal, take that trash bag and like cut that corner off at the table and be like, "That's what you smell. Get fucked."
I'm not gonna do that.
That's real DMing.
But I'll remember.
That's real DMing right there.
That's real DMing.
Set
sure.
DMing.
Where was I? In order for a vortex of the second type to exist, a truly staggering volume of garbage, filth, and offal must be packed into a very small area.
Okay.
In times of plague, when refuse and slain victims often pile high, a vortex can form at the decaying, liquefying base of such heaps.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
So disgusting. Repugnant as a plane may be, it's possible for people to survive in the paraplane of Ooze. In fact, it's actually one of the more hospitable of the inner planes. Still, like any inner plane, the Swamp of Oblivion is rife with dangers and hazards.
And Roku remotes, because they fall into the couch and then they just hit a vortice.
They hit a vortice.
That's where they go.
In the truly nastiest of houses.
Yeah.
Your first hazard that you'll come across in the Plane of Ooze is breathing.
No way.
So even though it's a good deal thicker, the goo that makes up the paraplane of Ooze is a lot like water. In fact, it's enough like water that magical items designed to let one breathe while submerged more often than not works as intended here.
Okay.
Thus, one can make a reliable use of a ring of water breathing, for example. Spells, however, must be slightly modified to account for the concentrated mass, but also still function well here. Most creatures who are naturally able to breathe water, like fish or merfolk, cannot survive in the paraplane without some manner of magical aid. The primordial slime of Ooze is too thick to be processed by gills or similar organs. And I think that all tracks.
Yeah, you need a charcoal filter.
Yeah,
attached to your gills or something to keep the nasty out.
The second problem you'll run into on the Plane of Ooze is vision.
I hate that guy. Especially in the what if.
Hazard 2, vision. Although the color of the elemental ooze varies, it's generally translucent. As such, one can see at least a few feet even without the help of magic. In general, one can make out objects as far as 15 feet away, assuming you have a light source or dark vision, and it's 5e, so everyone's good. Mm-hmm. Normal flames will not burn here, so torches and lanterns aren't functional. Magical or biochemical illumination, on the other hand, works normally. So bring sun rods.
Yeah, sun rods. What episode were we hearing it about the sun rods?
I believe it was in the Frostfell episode, because we were talking about like the darkness and stuff, and fire not working because it's so cold.
Yeah,
that was
need some sun rods.
Yeah.
Sun rods are cool.
Sun rods are cool. All right. Hazard 3, elemental pockets. So it is unclear if elemental pockets are more or less common on the paraplane of ooze than they are throughout the rest of the inner planes. With so many types of muck and sludge pressing in from every side, it's difficult to tell whether the revolting goo that's just been stepped in is a natural part of the paraplane or has been tracked here on the boots of an unexplained cosmic force.
Okay.
So basically, you don't know.
Yeah.
Elemental pockets in ooze tend to resemble those found in the plane of earth in regions where the muck is thicker, or the plane of water in spots where it's thinner. The most common pockets in the paraplane are those that drift in from earth and water. Bubbles of air tend to form hollow cysts in which one can seek shelter and find breathable, if foul-smelling, atmosphere.
All right.
Earth pockets provide solid matter upon which a traveler can firmly plant their feet, though many of them have been hollowed out. Hazard 4, acid. Caustic chemicals form and concentrate at certain points in the endless mire of the paraplane. In time, they become so potent that they can eat quickly through almost all living matter. These acid pools can be very large.
And like trekking this and having to DM this over a long course of time sounds like a fucking nightmare to plot.
This is, I only want 2 sessions in this place, and then we got to get out.
Yeah, I mean, like, should you even be here that long? Like, that's a good reason to not be here that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hazard 5, diseases. Pockets of disease and illness are not uncommon in the paraplane of ooze. When one enters an infectious zone, they are instantly affected as if by the disease and must make an immediate constitution check. By the way, a lot of these rolls, this is 2e stuff, but I think it translates fairly well to 5e, so that's why I included it.
You get insta-sick. There's no cultivation period whatsoever.
Yes. If the roll is successful, they develop a disease that is merely debilitating. If they fail the roll, they instead contract a version of the disease that can ultimately be deadly.
Oh, man.
Hazard 6, poison.
Wait, hang on. I got to go back.
Yeah,
Because,
let's go back. Yeah.
This can be a sensitive topic for people, like, you know, disease and stuff like that.
yeah.
How would you, like, you roll you con check?
Okay, so
you fail it.
This is one of those things that you have to tackle in session 0, right? It's like, okay, I'm running a campaign, and I'm running it deadlier than maybe your normal vanilla campaign.
Right. Are
Make
you
sure
guys
everyone's
cool
on
with
board,
your rings
okay with
around your
it?
rosies?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And you just kind of, this would be part of the list, because if you're DMing, if you're planning on going here, it's on your checklist, right? But like, yeah, so a debilitating disease is, okay, you get the flu or whatever. But it's like a permanent flu until you can get someone to put greater restoration or whatever on you. And until then, you're poisoned. You're basically poisoned in 5e rules. That's how that works, right?
Yes, you're poisoned. But the flavor of it, I guess,
it's different.
like you should be careful.
Exactly.
I suppose. Yeah, session 0 is important.
Always. And now we're on to poison.
Yeah, sorry.
So just as chemicals can concentrate and become deadly corrosives, so too can they form toxic fluids. One who stumbles into a poisoned area might grow sick and even die.
There's too much vitamin C in this one area. There's so much concentrated. Don't eat those pills.
There's so much taurine in this pool.
That's a lot of taurine. This is a very concentrated Red Bull. Do not drink it.
I feel so alive.
Oh, no, I don't.
So, all right, hazard number 7, movement. The heart of the paraplane of ooze has no gravity. Because of this, one can simply remain still and drift along wherever the languid currents carry them. With a little effort, they can even swim in the stuff. So, it's obvious. At the heart of ooze, it's ooze in all directions. You're in a giant ooze cube. You're in a giant gelatinous cube, an infinite one, kinda. Because it's not technically infinite, but for all intents and purposes, it kind of is.
Yeah.
And there's flows and currents that will just drift you about, but you will lose all sense of up and down. It's like being in outer space without a frame of reference, right?
Yeah.
There is no bottom, there is no top.
If it's not the plane of ooze, then it's the plane of gas. Because, like, if you're walking around in there and there's air to breathe, it's
there is
noxious.
There's not.
But in this area, it's
when
not.
when there is air to breathe, it is often noxious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was likely stated here, right? Okay, so yeah, moving sounds bad. So what, do you have to like kick off of hard ooze blocks?
Yeah, so you so depending on where you are in the heart of ooze, let's say you're in a thinner ooze section, right? So you can actually swim, but maybe at like half speed or something. But maybe you have some sort of magical aid, or like, hey, guess what we found? We found God, what's it called? The lobster submarine. What's that thing called? I can't remember.
The submarine of Qualish?
Yeah, Qualish. Yeah, exactly. The apparatus of Qualish. I mean, that's a great thing to have in this place.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty good.
That's a good one to go around in.
It moves in all directions.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the more solid muck, I mean, that's when you're in trouble. Like everything's a hazard. You can barely move. You can barely breathe. God forbid you get attacked by a monster that can operate normally here, because you are at a huge disadvantage. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, anything you touch could be like an ooze.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta probably have like a special suit protecting you and your items. Like, yeah, this is, if you are in the heart of ooze and you're in a thick, soupy, caustic area, you are super vulnerable. This is a very dangerous place, and you as a player and a group of players should be doing everything you can to get out as soon as possible. And the DM should be thinking the same thing. Like, you guys are in a deadly place.
Yeah.
You stay too long, it's going to be over for y'all.
Emergency contingency for movement in this non-gravity space. Get sick, get a disease, get the common cold.
There you go.
And then you sneeze a bunch, and the sneeze propel you. Sneeze one way to propel the other way.
Dude, okay, so tangent. Adam Sandler came out with a movie on Netflix called Spaceman. This is a very serious, dramatic movie.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of big, serious, dramatic movies. And he does not propel himself with a sneeze, but he propels himself with a disinfectant to try and, spoilers, cure someone else who is covered in infectious things.
Okay.
And your sneeze reminded me of that. I watched it last night. It was good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
It is
I was
cool,
thinking of the Bim Bam joke where they're like, if you nut in space, it pushes you backwards.
Yeah. That's probably a better reference. All right. The last hazard for the Plane of Ooze. Other dangers. It's just a general one. A number of very dangerous things wait to smother anyone who comes to Ooze. Because of the nature of these hazards, most seldom even see them before walking right into them. And this is referring to, and we're going to get into this after the short rest, guess what lives here in the Plane of Ooze?
Ooze monsters.
Oozes live here.
Yeah.
And guess what's the best camouflage for ooze monsters?
Just being in the ooze.
Just being in ooze.
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna see them coming most of the time.
That's what I mean. Like, if you're transcending like different types of ooze, you're like moving through the it's glop.
Yeah, the glop, the goop.
When you're swimming through the gloop glop,
The gloop glop.
you might get grabbed by a node.
What's Gwyneth Paltrow's like beauty regimen called? It's called Goop, right?
What?
Yeah. Oh,
I know she does a thing. I didn't know it was called.
Yeah, it's called Goop. I'm pretty sure.
I saw a joke recently that said Gwyneth Paltrow is like the female Ben Shapiro or some shit like that.
I don't know about that. I don't know about her political stances. I just know she's.
I should not.
Really weird
I might edit
stuff.
the name Ben Shapiro out of the show.
That's probably a good idea.
Actually,
but it is called Goop.
Okay. If you see Gwyneth Paltrow on the Plane of Ooze, you can panic. It's fine.
It's her.
Oh, it's her. She's made of Caucasian ooze.
Oh gosh. Well, that's all I got before the short rest. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
It's the grand adventures of Ilian and Beard.
Finally, we're back to the tower.
Yes, we're finally back in my tower where we can get this quest back on track, Ben.
It took forever.
It did. We got lost for 3 weeks.
So much stuff happened.
Yeah, and none of it included the pendant of Plenty's patrons, Ben. Quite upset.
That's not even really a thing anymore.
I mean, it's still technically a thing.
Right, it will be again.
Yes, that's the goal, to make it a thing.
I remember when we first set out on our journey to find the pendant of Plenty's patrons.
As do I, Ben.
But then I got hit in the ass with that warlock beam.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, that. And it reflected off my butt.
Yes, and it broke the thing that we were looking for.
Total accident.
To thousands of pieces.
Total accident.
Hundreds, I'm not sure how many.
Yeah, just the odds of it.
Now we only have 3.
Yeah.
3 shards of that Plenty's patron, which, let me remind you of why we set out on this quest in the first place.
You know I love to hear it.
For legend tells of an ancient artifact known as the Pendant of Plenteous Patron.
It's so old.
An amulet of power said to hold the souls of 1,000 generous benefactors.
We saw it, and we felt its power, and it was so beautiful.
And if we could but wield it, we, in fact, would be benefacted by these patrons.
Yes, and we could supply our whims, our greatest wishes, our artistic flow.
I could actually make a living being a wizard.
And I could actually make a living being a painter.
But this pendant of Plesius patrons was shattered in the event that you just described.
Yes, an
The
unfortunate
Eldritch
side effect.
The Eldritch Ass Blast,
Yeah.
as I like to call it.
Yes, a monumental occasion.
And now that it's been shattered, we are hunting down each of these shards of substantial supporters that when we finally bring together, we will recreate the pendant of Plesius patrons.
Yes, they've apparently been scattered throughout the cosmos.
Indeed.
Kind of hard to get a hold of.
We went all the way to Acheron.
We could not find that Githzerai.
No, but we did find 3 shards, so we got that at least. But now we're back at the Wizard's Tower.
Yes.
We could rest a little bit, and then we could reframe our quest and figure out the next step of where to go.
Well, it's been pretty easy to rest. I mean, once these 3 shards congealed, we can open up our tier in space.
Yes.
But you're right, it's not like the tower, and you really do need to check on your fish.
I do. Oh, my fish!
Yeah.
Hut! Jeffrey, no!
Oh, jeez. Jeffrey the fish. It was, man, his bowl's really dirty, too. Oh, no, wait, there he goes.
Yes, he's alive!
You little possum fish.
Quickly, I need to change the water out.
That's the thing about possum fish. You never really know.
Oh, Jeffrey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jeffrey.
It's so weird with how their face has the teeth, like a possum. The weird long snouty thing.
Jeffrey is beautiful, Ben.
That's very subjective, but okay. It's beautiful to you, and I respect that. Anyway, it is so dusty in this tower.
Yes, we've been gone for quite some time. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to dust off some of these tomes and
Weren't you telling me
work
about
researching.
a wizard invention you were thinking about that was like a small gelatinous cube that rolls around your house and picks up dirt?
Yes, it's less of an invention, more of a breeding program.
Oh, okay.
But yes, exactly. I feel like gelatinous cubes have a lot of potential that people really aren't tapping into because they're terrified by the giant cube-shaped monsters that can burn them alive with their acid.
Yeah, I feel like that's one you could take the Sahuagin. The Sahuagin CEOs are really big on good inventions like that one. And they're morally gray about the breeding thing, so it's probably not a thing. But if we could get those into the homes of all across of
Who needs
material-
the Sahuagin if we have the pendant of Plesius patrons
That's
beer?
true.
We just need patrons to back the concept, to kickstart it, if you will.
Yes.
And we'll make those suckers, we'll just dish them on out.
Have you ever done a Kickstarter? I heard those are pretty good. Those work out.
I've dabbled in the starting of kicks, it's true.
You do. Your calves are quite strong for a wizard.
Yeah, it's all the stairs, really.
It is. There's so many. Is that why you guys live in towers? Is so you can kind of work out a little bit?
Gotta get a little cardio in.
Calf strength has
Yep.
got to be there.
The calves and the cardio.
Well, it is nice to be here again. Look, my easel's still here in your loft. Very cool. Well, what are we gonna do now?
I am going to read this book and figure out where we venture forth next.
It's funny how, when we go into the tier in space, it's only books from Otherworld that we seem to be able to read, and not books from our world here in the tower.
Yes, it's quite accurate.
So they had to come back here.
Yeah, indeed.
A little bit inconvenient, but I guess there's the things we do there and the things we do here. And
There's the things we do for passion, and then there's work.
that's right. And the shard knows. The shard knows the difference.
Shards know.
They know when we need a true, you don't just rest your body. You rest your mind. You rest your soul.
Yes, you rest your soul. All right, Ben, let's get to work. We
figure
need
out.
to find the rest of these shards.
That's right, baby. We've returned.
Indeed, we have.
We're fucking back.
Indeed, we are.
Pretty sure Alien and Bearn were back also.
Yes, hopefully.
They should be.
They should be,
Should be some Alien and Bearn.
but we'll find out.
Who knows what they did? I'm thinking we'll do a time skip because it's been
Yes,
so long.
I think that is a great idea.
Yeah, so there was probably a time skip.
Yep. Hopefully they're not stuck in the Plane of Ooze. That would be unfortunate.
Once again, we record them after. If you would like to support Ilian and Bjorn and their adventures and their rest adventures in a tier in space, you can do so at patreon.com/the Dungeoncast. There is special Ilian and Bjorn tier called the tier in space, where they go to take their long rests and have nice little in-character chats about stuff. I believe the one that we are doing today is going to be about Dune. So if you don't want spoilers for Dune, don't listen to it. But if you want to hear a spoiler breakdown of Dune in character, you can go to patreon.com/Dungeoncast and listen to that. And after that's the plug. Back to it.
All right, back to it.
Fucking back.
We're back to the Paralemental Plane of Ooze. And there aren't many creatures that actually live here.
Yeah, baby. Did you leave your crock pot on? That's what I wanted to say. Did you leave your crock pot on too long? Well, now it looks like the Plane of Ooze in there.
Indeed. At first glance, the place can seem rather lifeless outside of the sparse vegetation that grows here. But like a desert on the material plane, a desolate wasteland hostile to most life can be secretly teeming with creatures that call this place their home.
That's wild that there could be like a fucking poisonous plant or something like that growing out of the soup. The worst
There's
soup.
actually lots of them.
Damn.
If you find a plant here that is not a tree, don't touch it.
What if it is a tree?
You're probably safe. I have not read anything about poisonous trees on this plane. So
Okay.
you're probably okay.
Okay.
And we know people build their houses in trees here. So
Oh, wow. All right.
trees are okay.
All right. Trees are safe trees. Gotcha.
Trees. So pre-5e D&D, it is said that ooze mephits were the most plentiful race in the paraplane. They don't build cities or strongholds, but instead live in nomadic packs. The creatures make up such a large percentage of the population on the Plane of Ooze that most folks believe they are the only denizens of the plane. Ooze mephits are often as pathetic as they are disgusting, but since 5e has unofficially swapped the ooze mephit out for the mud mephit, maybe mud mephits are the dominant species of the Plane of Ooze now? Question
Yeah.
mark. I
What
don't know.
kind of mud? All kinds of mud.
All the muds.
They're pre-ooze. Oozes.
Yeah, pre-ooze.
Yuck.
Yeah. So as revolting as the ooze mephits are, they can't hold a candle to true ooze para-elementals. These stomach-turning beasts are walking masses of slime, foul-tempered, and quick to attack just about anyone they see. A common saying is that ooze elementals are so hostile because they disgust even themselves and can't stand the idea of being seen by others.
The reflective ooze must die. We cannot stand its presence.
so gross.
Muck. Damn.
Only the
That's
most
sad.
It is sad. Total tangent. I don't know why this popped in my head, but in Baldur's Gate 3, spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3, there is a mud mephit and a mud elemental that are married and in a relationship.
Wow.
It's really cool.
I've seen some memes about romancing the elementals.
Can you? I haven't seen that.
That's the meme, is like, why isn't this an option?
I guess so. There's not very many you could talk to.
Right,
And
there's like a
one's
water-
married. I just established
Yeah.
that one was married.
Well, I'm glad that they have formed like a legal bond of some kind.
Yes. Anyways, moving on. Only the most disgusting animals known to the multiverse can be found in the Swamp of Oblivion. Leeches, bloated maggots that never seem to grow into flies, hagfish, lampreys. If it's slimy, foul-smelling, or thick with disease, it probably lives in the paraplane of ooze.
Oh. Plague rats.
Plague rats.
There's
yes.
probably dire rats.
Yes,
some areas
rats
here.
do exist here. It is actually official. We'll get into it
canonical.
later. Yes.
All right.
In addition to these organic creatures, the paraplane has a healthy number of creatures called animentals. Now, this one threw me for a loop because I don't know if you know this, Brian, but I've been around the block with D&D. I've been playing D&D a long time. Been doing a lot of research on D&D for like 7-8 years. I never fucking heard of an animental before.
It's my favorite teen youth book, The Animental.
Absolutely. So this is my first time running into this term, but from what I could gather, animentals are elementals that take on the form or behavior of material plane animals. So the Plane of Ooze is also home to ooze cats and slime dogs, as well as other oozy animals.
That's fucking awesome.
It's pretty cool.
actually.
I
Yeah.
really like it. I was very excited.
This is my
about this
slime
one.
dog.
This is my slime dog.
This is Jim the slime dog. Woof woof, baby. Don't touch his vomit.
Don't touch his anything.
Don't touch him at all. Yeah.
please.
Oh, there was a sad video I saw of a cat that fell into like chemical waste in
Oh,
Japan.
bro, why?
And
Don't
they were
bring
like,
this up on the
if
show.
you find this cat, do not touch this cat.
Yes, because it's
But
radioactive.
who's supposed? Like, you might not. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Sad times. Sorry. Rest in peace, cat.
Rest in peace, radioactive.
Maybe it's
cat.
gonna become a superhero though.
Could be. Not going to happen. Every form of deadly pudding, carnivorous jelly, or killer slime can be found, often in large numbers, in the paraplane of ooze. In fact, these monsters seem to be greatly empowered while here. Not only are they hardier and larger, but their intelligence seems to also increase while on the plane. Thus, gray and crystal oozes, stun jellies, and olive slimes are semi-intelligent here.
It's like when electric type Pokemon hang out at the power plant or whatever. They get like
Is that a thing?
a power boost. They must like being there. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's,
sure,
like-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Otyugs, if they're lucky, might find their way here as well.
Yeah, fucking the infinite buffet, baby.
Yeah. Although not true natives, these creatures see the Swamp of Oblivion as a true paradise. And if one ever hears someone talking about the Plane of Ooze, they assume that the speaker is talking about heaven. An Otyug will use whatever means possible to try and reach the Swamp of Oblivion, and once they arrive, they fiercely defend their new homes as they wallow in the infinite filth.
I know. Like, what are you going to get? You're fighting other creatures. You're fighting like oozes and stuff that are like territorial or something, huh? And then you just fucking eat them.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Otyug's pretty strong, right?
Huh?
Otyug's pretty strong.
Yeah, they're pretty strong. I think they're a challenge rating 5 creature. They're up there.
That's around like what? A black pudding is like a challenge rating.
I think the Black Pudding might be a challenge rating 9.
I thought I was going to say 7, but I'm just gonna look it up.
But 5e doesn't really have them, but there are powered up versions of Otyugs, like officially.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think we talked about the Otyug episode.
But I did know that and forgot.
So while you look at that, I'm going to continue.
Yes, please.
Ooze sprites are a unique creature to the Plane of Ooze. It is without a doubt a misnamed creature. These squat, ugly, humanoidish elementals lead solitary existences and hate almost everything they find. They regularly oppress and dominate any ooze mephit they come across and see nothing wrong with forcing the mephits to do their bidding.
Oh, dude, black pudding is only challenge rating 4.
We're
so
tripping.
fucking
Yeah,
wrong.
We're way off.
Yeah.
I just like oozes.
I'm going to double check.
In my world, oozes are stronger.
Is this the strongest ooze?
I believe it's the strongest ooze in the
In the regular monster?
regular
manual?
monster. No, because isn't Gelatinous Cube a challenge rating 5? I'm all jacked up.
I can't
with
trust anything you're saying right
I
now.
know,
except for
right?
what's
The
written in
lies
notes.
out of my lips.
Yeah, Otyug, you nailed it. It's challenge rating 5. And then
It should. It's my favorite monster.
Gelatinous cube. I mean, it is cool. It's like the Rancor, but with more tentacles.
Oh, no. The Gelatinous Cube is my favorite
Oh.
monster.
Okay.
Sorry. I believe that one's a 5.
No, it's a 2.
Porque.
Man, it's the blue one. It's not.
You
the
know,
green
we did the ooze episode like 8 years ago or whatever. So.
Yeah, chandelier ooze was super cool. I like that one.
It was fun.
All right.
All right. Did you hear what I said about ooze sprites?
Yeah, I was formulating a joke about McDonald's Sprite. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, we're done with them. We're moving on.
Oh, okay. Like a new Sprite is when you leave McDonald's Sprite in like the garbage, and that's what's in the bottom corner of the trash bag.
Of course.
Yeah.
Travelers to the Swamp of Oblivion may find themselves encountering random humanoids wandering the plane. For the most part, these folks are here against their will. Banished or imprisoned here by powerful entities or societies for crimes committed or some other undesirable reason. In some corners of the cosmos, the Plane of Ooze is known as the House of Chambered Madness, due to the fact that those exiled to Ooze often go mad here.
I would have like a weird like convulsion type madness where I'm like trying to breathe through my mouth all the time.
Yeah, horrible. Most are unaware that any important or powerful entity lives in the Plane of Ooze, but that's simply not the case. There is one, Bwim II.
Bwim 2, the sequel to Bwim.
Bwim II is a revolting creature and is the closest thing one will find to a para-elemental princess of Ooze. While Brim II is, in fact, a archomental in the loosest sense of the word, she is among the weakest of that group. She inherited the position from her father, who was recently slain. Some folks say that Bwim II was formed from the remains of her father's sludge-like corpse, but the truth of this statement is not known. While the true para-elementals of Ooze obey her, most of the other beings that dwell in the Endless Slime have no interest in Bwim II at all. Rumor is that she has looked beyond the borders of her realm for allies, recognizing that she'll never be anything more than a minor archomental at best.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, but oftentimes these beings are very ambitious, you know?
True.
And like, she looks at Cryonex and like he's like way above her, and he's like the worst of the archomentals.
True.
So, yeah, she feels a little bad about herself. So, Bwim II has proven herself to be very resourceful, as it appears that she has come to an understanding with the Demon Lord Juibliex. Although the exact nature of the relationship and shared goals remains a secret, it is without a doubt unpleasant.
For who? Not
For
them.
everyone, for fucking everybody.
Even Juibliex?
I'm sure they're very into whatever they got going on.
In a
but
way,
for
like-
everyone else, it's horrible.
Jubilex probably hates himself because he's just the biggest ooze.
I feel like Jubilex actually is like really egotistical. Like
Like more like regular Demon Lord
a
style.
little like regular Demon Lord style.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm sure it's a toxic relationship.
It's easy to manipulate her because she's ooze.
Absolutely. There's also an entity known as the Warlock of Ooze. He's said to have been a wizard of only moderate importance on the primordial world of Kryn. That's Dragonlance.
Okay.
The realm was the site of a great battle known locally as the Chaos War. We talk about it in the Dragonlance episode.
That was a fun episode.
The Warlock, whose name even he doesn't remember, tried to play a part in the conflict, but instead he somehow wound up infused with the essence of chaos.
Is this an Adventure Time character? What is this?
I know, right? While this made his magic far more powerful than it had been before, it also left his brain quite broken and mad. He was catapulted to the Plane of Ooze and has lived here ever since. He's used his magic to survive, and he's grown into a unique kind of specialist wizard, having whipped up such spells as Wall of Mold, Gelatinous Servant, and Flesh to Slime.
Oh, God.
More than one wizard has ventured into the muck in search of the Warlock, hoping to learn new magics to confound or at least disgust their enemies.
It's me, the Slime Warlock. He just throws up like a fucking cube at you. He's like, make it past my stomach ooze and you'll be able to.
I'm telling you
Pick
right
my
now.
brain.
I'm telling you right now. In my current elemental campaign, I'm going to find a reason to send these jokers to find the ooze warlock, and I'm going to have a slime Sherpa guide them. It's going to be great.
Sick.
There are no major structures in the para-elemental plane of ooze. Here and there, a clan of ooze sprites, para-elementals, or mephits have set up some kind of fortification, but these are seldom of any great importance. Scattered throughout the paraplane are pockets of congealed coagulated matter. They form when one gets trapped here with a sync spell, which I don't think is a listed spell in 5e, but it existed before. The victims stuck in the cyst are perfectly preserved. Although it's impossible to tell what type of creature is trapped within a particular cyst, the size of the cyst can provide a clue. From time to time, a cyst ruptures, freeing its prisoner. In most cases, the poor creature quickly drowns on the filth in which it's embedded. Those who are able to survive in the muck, however, generally set about tracking down those responsible for their incarceration. It's also possible for a careless adventurer to accidentally rupture a cyst, but since the creature within is likely to come forth in a very bad mood, it's not an action to be taken lightly.
This is gross.
Yeah, this whole place is
This is
horrible.
pimples.
Pimples with people inside.
Yeah.
They're people pimples.
That they are.
The Plane of Ooze is home to a gnomish community known as Gnome's Home. Many years ago, a group of gnomish miners toiling in the quasi-plane of Mineral broke through a cavern wall. They were hoping to make their way towards a rich new vein, but they ended up pushing themselves right into the paraplane of Ooze, specifically into the slag marshes.
Oh.
Resourceful in the extreme, the gnomes took what they had, tools, rope, ore carts, mine shaft supports, and the like, and made a gigantic raft. It looks terrible, but it functions well as a place to live.
Okay.
Once they realized that they couldn't get back to the quasi-plane of Mineral, they learned to hunt worms, eels, rays, and other creatures for food. They made allies with the ooze para-elementals and mephits when they could, and fought them off when they couldn't. In short, they survived.
Yeah, gnomes are smart. They're probably boiling everything they eat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is said that these hardy gnomes hold more than one secret about the paraplane of Ooze, and that they have adapted fully to their new environment, calling the Ooze their new home.
Oh.
Their raft has grown considerably over the years, and it now stretches out to a radius of at least 500 feet. Fuck, I forgot the magic on that one. Providing shelter for 40 gnomes, some of whom were born in the paraplane. Okay.
That's 152.4 meters.
Thank you, sir. Remember how I said Sigil dumps their trash here?
Right, yeah.
Well, it has managed to create a location known as the trash heap.
Like Garbage Island.
Garbage Island.
That's
yes.
that's a myth, but
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
it's the same concept.
right.
Stretching out for unbelievable miles, the trash heap grows each day, with more and more of Sigil's junk flowing in from a portal in the city sewers.
And that's not to say that there isn't a bunch of fucking trash in the ocean, because there is, but it's
there
not,
very much is.
It's
But it
not
isn't
like how people talk about
yes,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Decaying food, discarded materials, broken tools and weapons, and a great deal of organic waste products pass into the airplane under the guidance of the Lady of Pain's Dabus. It's been a while since we did Sigil, like a year or so. Do you
Has
remember?
it really been that long
It's
already?
been that was February last year, yes.
Wow. The bagel plane.
The bacon. Absolutely. Do you remember what the Dabus are?
No.
They're like the weird gargoyle-ish entities that like maintain the city.
Oh,
They
okay.
serve the Lady of Pain. Not that they actually talk to her, because no one talks to her.
Yeah,
But
she's a fucking freak.
I like the Lady of Pain, but
Is she chill? You can like her.
that's a good question. Is the Lady of Pain chill?
Not really, though.
90% of the time, absolutely.
Oh,
And the other 10%
yeah,
of the
unless you
time,
bug her.
holy fuck no.
If Sigil's doing what it's supposed to do, it's fine.
Everything's
right?
fine, yes.
But until it's not,
Don't fuck with the city.
yeah, okay. Fair
I mean,
enough.
if you came into my house, started fucking with my house, I wouldn't be chill either.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, anyways, that's who the Dabus are.
Okay.
They're the ones who are in charge of organizing the waste product. What's the word?
Inadvertently building a gnome raft.
Yes, no, not the gnome raft. The trash island. What's it called? I just named it. The trash heap.
I know, but isn't that where the gnomes are grabbing all their stuff?
No. The gnomes had stuff with them. They were miners in the plane of the mineral plane.
Yeah, but they had so much stuff, and you said they've grown their raft over the years.
Yeah,
So they're
they-
probably finding.
they've been here for like 200 years.
Yeah, so like the new stuff comes in.
Sure.
They grab it. and
Maybe
they're
they
like,
sail over there. Let's grab some.
I
sugar.
would.
I would too. All right, back to it. So very, very rarely, people briefly step through into ooze in order to maintain the portal or unclog a jam in the flow. Oh, the flow. The surrounding area is sometimes called the Sargasso sludge, wherein trapped bits of all sorts of debris float in the muck. Sometimes these pieces of flotsam take on the appearance of ships trapped in a Sargasso sea, hence the name. The trash heap is not uninhabited. Some of the unwanted refuse that Sigil throws away is the living, breathing kind. Generally, those poor folks are banished criminals. Most of them end up dead by drowning in the ooze. Some don't have to breathe, though, or manage to find air pockets among the junk, often wearing and wielding whatever they find as clothing and equipment.
Okay.
And finally, fun fact.
This better be fun.
Deep in the central portion of the paraplane, the oppressive pressures of the slime and ooze compress minerals into gems, unlike anywhere else found in the multiverse. These stones, which are usually blue, for some reason sparkle with a breathtaking beauty. They are called quilla, and they're worth up to 1,000 gold pieces or more to collectors.
Money's fun.
Money is fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions about the paraplane of ooze?
Do you think that Young Nasty Man is a resident of?
Oh yeah, this is his hometown.
This is where the Mucky Muck is.
Yep, this is the Mucky Muck.
Wonder Boy is one of my favorite Tenacious D songs.
Me too. It is a top 3 Tenacious D song for me.
Were you with me when we went to karaoke and a dude sang
Was
Wonder Boy?
fucking
and he nailed
belting it out. It
Yeah.
was incredible. I was there. That was their bachelor party. It was a good time.
That was fucking sick.
It was a good time.
That was a good one.
We got to go back.
We should.
All right.
Yeah.
We ready
Cool.
for long rest?
Yes, we are.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the long rest. This is the part of the show where we now talk about, we interact with the fans, I guess, is what the primary of this is going to be. But these slippers I have on my feet will not stay on.
Honestly, I don't want to put my feet in these ones.
No, they feel gross, and now my feet have diseases and warts.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, they're like the hag feet. We got an email, fan email that you can email us at thedungeoncast@gmail.com. Our person Mariko who helps us with emails has so kindly filtered them so we can read some of them on the show and aren't like totally overwhelmed by them. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Mariko, for helping us with this. This is from Adam Talaska. Hey, Will and Brian. Last year, I completed a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. Sick.
Indeed.
For some context, the trail is 2,198.4 miles. Sorry.
Wow.
hang on.
2,000 miles?
Yeah, 2,000.
That's 2/3 the breadth of the country. It's
Yes.
incredible. It's incredible.
Miles to. That's 3,537.982 kilometers long, going through 14 states. Sick. Starting in Georgia and ending in Maine. I started in February and ended in August, taking just over 150 trail days. That's fucking awesome.
That's incredible.
I just started sending out thank you cards to some of the hostels and other folk who help us hikers out, called Trail Angels, and I thought about you guys. I ended up listening to every episode of the show for the second time.
Whoa!
Hey,
He double dipped every episode.
yeah, it was a good recap and provided much needed distraction from the monotony, as well as putting in some ideas in my head for my campaign.
That's amazing.
yeah.
Thank you for listening to us. I'm glad we were able to help you on the road.
Unfortunately, I ran out of new episodes midway through Vermont, which also happens to be the same distance that Frodo and Sam walk in Lord of the Rings. Holy shit. So that was a bit
Coincidence?
disappointing.
I think not.
He's saying we should have started recording the show like years earlier.
Yeah, you know what? I say that every day.
Just wanted to give you guys my thanks for keeping me laughing through some tough times on trail, and I did succeed in spreading the word of the show and Demogorgon.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Demogorgon
Demogorgon.
on the trail. So I hope I repaid you guys a little at least. In fact,
Very much so.
there is a mountain in Virginia called The Priest with a logbook where you are supposed to write confessions from the trail. What, like your crimes you did while you were walking?
I committed a murder.
I thought about dastardly
your thoughts
things.
aren't crimes, but I
thought-
guess it's a confession.
I thought about robbing banks the whole time I was walking. No. And I wrote a shout out to Demogorgon in his great honor
Hell
and
yeah.
corruption. Fuck yes.
Corrupt the priest.
Shout out to Demogorgon and my personal homeboy, Io Asgarath, and
Yes, Io's
my
great.
everything dad. And any fellow AT hiker trash that happen to be listening. If you guys end up reading this on the show, Adam Trail Name Muskrat. Thank you, Muskrat.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so much. That's
sending-
an awesome email.
It's a sick email. If you
Yeah.
guys, like I said, the dungeoncast@gmail.com. Don't be scared. You guys can email us, and once a month-ish, we'll read emails on the show. So we'll let them pile up a little bit. That's the only one we're going to read today. We're also going to do some Apple Podcast reviews. So, Will, do you want to take that away?
Yeah, let's do it. So we got five-star ratings that have come in over the last couple months, and I want to go ahead and read them here on the show. Just a couple days ago, on March 12th, so probably a couple weeks ago for
Just
people listening
before
to this.
the Ides.
Yes, indeed. Nako Hydra wrote, very entertaining, best, funniest D&D stuff ever. Thank you, Nako Hydra.
Thank you, Nako Hydra.
On March 10th, Renix Ninja wrote, best D&D podcast out there. I've been playing D&D for about a year now. And as such, I searched out many D&D podcasts. This is by far the best non-live play show out there. I've listened to every new episode as they come out, and I've been working through their back catalog and just finished episode 200. After all that, the show keeps holding strong for me. These guys are very knowledgeable about D&D, generally smart, funny, genuine, and they have smooth, creamy radio voices. I appreciate that because I have to be on mic next to this guy who definitely has a smooth, creamy radio voice. And so I feel a little self-conscious, so it's nice to be included. Thank you.
I will take this opportunity to compliment Will on how far he's come on his voice and mic technique
Thank you.
over the years.
Thank you.
You're now a master.
Oh, really? Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're at least a pro.
I'm at least a professional. I do technically get paid to do this. I would highly recommend this show to anyone who likes Dungeons and Dragons. You'll learn about the game, the lore, and creatures, and be entertained too. Thank you, Renix Ninja.
Thank you, Renix Ninja.
We on February 24th, we got a review from anonymous who
I
wrote
believe it's pronounced anonymous.
Anonymous, the great Anonymous. I'm gonna say I love this review because the title, good. The body, great. Thank you, Anonymous.
Thank you for anonymous for our good great review.
Super Crazy Man 00 wrote to us on wrote a review on February 1st. It's the best. I like this podcast because it teaches me about the lore of previous editions that I know little about. Thank you, Super Crazy Man 00.
All 5-star reviews in my heart are created equal, which is to say I love them all.
That's true. I do love them all. But that one was just so brief. And it
It's
made me
true.
laugh.
I appreciate the effort it took to get there and to do the thing. Like I respect it and understand it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
On January 7th, the EB Spoon 5-starred us and wrote, I love this podcast. The best part about this podcast is that it's mostly just two bros chilling and talking about really fun stuff. Brian and Will are two amazing people who are really devoted to what they do. Thank you. We are devoted to what we do. So I super appreciate that. The EB Spoon.
Thank you, EB Spoon. That's a fun name. The EB Spoon.
The EB Spoon, yes.
The EB.
Thank you, guys.
You sure it's not like Thebes Spoon?
Well, it's the capital EB and then spoon.
Thebes Spoon.
The Eb Spoon.
The Eb Spoon.
Thank you guys for your wonderful reviews. Please send us more. If you guys haven't written us a review, it really helps the show.
That helps a lot.
And I enjoy reading them. And we're planning on trying to read them more on the show. So
yeah, well, like we said, we're gonna kind of like shoe in. We're gonna rotate throughout the month, like what we do. Like obviously, we have one Patreon episode per month. So we do all the patron shout outs for that episode, but the other 3 to 4 episodes, depending on the month, is we're just gonna rotate through fan email, YouTube comments. So whatever's the most loaded up will probably get the most attention most of the time. So that'd be YouTube comments. But
yeah.
we'll see. Feel free, tell us your D&D tales, stuff like that, things you want us to read on the show. If there, keep in mind that like it needs to be written in a way where and with subject material where we like feel good about reading it on the show.
Indeed.
I'm not just going to read whatever shows up in the inbox. That's not how this works.
Dear America.
Yeah. So if you don't hear your message, there could be a reason why. Not that that's happened. I pretty much read everything, and there was like one hard mail we got that was like, this seems like we shouldn't read it. We will skip it, but still acknowledge it. It'll be that sort of thing. So please understand there has to be some sort of discretion here from us. But otherwise, like I'm super stoked for this and hanging out with you guys in a way.
Indeed. So there's 4 ways really. 4 ways to contact us. There's the Gmail, the Dungeoncast@gmail.com.
Yes.
There's our awesome P.O. box that you manage, and that should be listed in the description.
1784 Upland, California, 91785. But it's down in the description. Don't go off of what I just said.
There are the Apple Podcast reviews.
Apple Podcast.
And of course, there's the YouTube comments.
I wish there were other
technically there's the Spotify stuff, which we don't really engage with, but that's mostly because we did for a while and didn't get much engagement back.
Did we? I thought the Spotify stuff was just like a blank 5-star, like.
Well, what you can do is on Spotify on our end, we can drop like question of the episode.
Oh yeah, no, not that stuff.
Yeah, and it just didn't really garner much interaction.
Didn't pick up.
So, yeah.
I mean, like when you review on Spotify, it's like a very straightforward.
It's just a rating.
It's just stars. It's not
just a rating,
a message or anything. So.
Yeah, although that still helps. So please do that as well.
It's even easier than an Apple Podcast review. But the Apple Podcast reviews, Apple is the driver of like charting for podcasts. So having reviews in Apple is critical. Also, like Podbean, I'm sure there are reviews there that like I don't know how to access that.
We might be able to access them on Chartable.
Other app catchers, yeah. So we'll look into that, and maybe next time if we can figure out like how to access and read those reviews, we'll do that too. But any review really helps promote us and the algorithms that dictate when shows get promoted. So thanks a lot, you guys. Really appreciate your interactions, and we'll talk to you guys soon. I think with that, we're going to get to the pre-recorded bit. Hey, everybody, we got some news for you about the Dungeoncast. Will, do you want to hit it off with Star Seeker's Guide to Drakenstar? What's going on?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So Star Seeker's Guide to Drakenstar, the book based off of Super Quest Saga, the space sci-fi campaign that we ran for 3 years. I'm still working hard on it, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody who supported us, both on Kickstarter and the backer kit. But for anyone interested in backing us on the backer kit, I wanted to say that your time is limited. I will be closing the backer kit on April 1st, charging cards probably in May. I don't have the dates 100% on that when it comes to charging cards, but I will be closing out the backer kit on April 1st. I just really want to wrap a bow on this. And again, thank you to everyone who has supported. And go ahead and get in there. It's drakenstar.com. If you want to pre-order the books, and there's also the add-ons. There's the dice set, and there's the poster, as well as a few other things. And go ahead and check it out. But just so everyone knows, I will be closing the backer kit on April 1st. So after that point, pre-orders will no longer be open. Everyone who's made their order will be getting their book, and there will be no more orders accepted. So
there you have it. So check out Star Seeker's Guide to Drakenstar. That's what was the website? Drakenstar.com.
Drakenstar.com.
Drakenstar.com. It's based off of our actual play D&D game, Super Quest Saga, which we also encourage you to check out. Right now, FBATS is going to be airing again, so there should be new episodes up. Let's see. We got the merch store. We still are working on our brand new merch store. We're gonna have 2 merch stores. It's gonna be a little weird for a second.
Yeah, but we have great news coming very soon about the new one.
Yeah, so you'll hear that soon. But our regular merch store with just the regular Dungeoncast stuff is available. There's a link in the description below. You can also follow us on Discord. That's a place we love to interact with fans.
Indeed.
So come talk to us there. You can also find us on social media at the Dungeoncast on X, Mastodon, and Instagram. Thank you to Will for doing stuff like that. And if you want to support us, one of the best ways to do that is by leaving a review, telling a friend, and by leaving a review, I mean on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to the show, hitting that like and subscribe on YouTube, or supporting us on patreon.com/thedungeoncast, where we have early episodes that are ad-free, along with a slew of other material that you can reference, including notes for the show, fun skits. Now we have an Alien and Beer tier. We have fucking all kinds of stuff. So go check it out. And with that, we're going to call it a game.
Let's call it a game. We'll talk to you guys later.
The Dungeoncast.